Now, the first thing I want to say, I think a big thing about why this movie worked for me is you two.
Oh,
Thank you.
Good performances from both of you. How did you approach it? Just obviously being from a comic book, keeping it real and keeping the relationship working.
Sure. I think I got along with Dakota immediately, and sometimes chemistry works, sometimes it doesn't work, and it's not necessarily always defined by how the people get on off screen. Sometimes people could hate each other off camera, and yet, magic happens when they yell action. We got along so well in between takes off camera, and I think that's what really lent itself to the performances. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I think that really helps on any film, especially this one, because we're in a lot of scenes together. Mostly all of my scenes are with him, so I think it really helps to kind of have that off-camera chemistry as well.
Now, what did you know about the idea when you first were offered the film?
Not much. I had read the script, and it was an interesting story. It was a page turner. One of those scripts you burn through, and you kind of want to read it again as soon as you're done to make sure everything checks out. And then you talk with Paul, and Paul's approach to the way he wanted to shoot it was very grainy and a lot of handheld camera work, and it felt like it was going to have a very real feel to it as opposed to that kind of glossy look in some of these superhero films. Yeah. And then you go do the research, and you read about these people who dedicate their lives to the study of telekinesis and psychic abilities, and you realize it's out there. It really is. It exists.
Cool. How about you?
For me, I mean, I am a watcher, and I don't know if I did any, formal research for it, but, you always hear about psychic abilities and being able to see into the future, and it's very interesting. It's, you never know if it can happen or if it can't happen, so it's that mystery that's kind of cool to me.
Telekinesis is something that's a lot of people don't believe. Has it changed your views of it at all?
Absolutely. I mean, it's pushed me from being a skeptic to being open. I'm not completely sold, but to assume that I can completely rule some sort of possibility out, it's an absurd notion. You have to respect the fact that things are possible.
Now, obviously, it sets itself up for a sequel.
Yeah.
Are you guys interested? Would you come back to this world?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I would never say never.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well said.
Okay, and gotta say Twilight. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be.
It's okay.
Are we looking? Is it looking good?
It's definitely a possibility. I think it would be really, really cool if that worked out to be the case. I'm a really huge fan of all that is Twilight. So.
You're gonna get it. Come on. And how about you? Would there be any interest? Obviously, this is not your first foray into superhero films.
Sure.
Would we ever go back to Fantastic Four, even though those,
I don't know. I think they're done. I think they've closed the book on that franchise. I'm not 100% sure, but I think if there was talks of a third, I would have heard about it by now.
So now you're doing Tennessee Williams.
Yeah, right?
Good job.
Yeah, talk about opposite ends of the spectrum.